Hi, this is Tyler from Sure to Shame, bringing you your breakdown for UFC 203, Stipe Miocic versus Alistair Overeem. I am recording this from work because I am working 84 hours a week, and so I'm going to power through it to not let you people in on my soul-crushing depression and tiredness. So, let's start this off with Joanne Calderwood versus Jessica Andrade. My personal favorite fight of the night, the one I'm looking forward to the most. Both these people have been looking great. Both these young ladies have been looking great early on, lately I mean. I believe that this fight should have been held at flyweight to crown a flyweight champion for the UFC. They're going to announce the division anyway, so might as well just let this happen. Jessica Andrade looked good in her strawweight debut, coming down from bantamweight. You're expecting her to look depleted. You're looking for her to have any sort of toll taken on her by that cut down to strawweight. But she looked good. She looked strong. She didn't lose a step. She had cardio, which is something that you have to worry about when you cut that much weight. Your cardio going out the window. But she looked good. She stayed right in Jessica Bené's face and did not let her up. That being said, you look over at Joanne Calderwood. She's coming off one of the most dominant, beautiful victories of her career against Valerie Letourneau, against a former title challenger as well. Calderwood has a great style, though, that might be able to diffuse Andrade's forward pressure. She strikes and circles to the left, which might land her in trouble if because Andrade is orthodox, so she's circling right into that power hand. But Calderwood is great at using her reach. She's a long fighter. Even though she's given up the reach advantage a couple times, she does fight longer than most people do. She's a great long fighter. She's tall. She's got good kicks, good teeth. Look for those in this fight. Look for Calderwood to use her teeth to keep Andrade back. I don't think she'll be able to put her away, but I will say Calderwood by decision. After that, we got Uriah Faber versus Jimmy Rivera. Everybody knows about Uriah Faber. Everybody knows his skill set. Great submissions, great wrestling, pretty decent boxing. A lot of you don't know who Jimmy Rivera is right now. He's got some great striking, great wrestling, but he's pretty green. He's still making his way up. Loss to Faber won't derail him. He's got a good future ahead of him. I feel like this is just a gimme fight for Faber, even though that by no means is Rivera dead in the water. Faber has his hands full tonight, but I think that this is a fight that they want to give Faber one last good win before he leaves the UFC. So I'm going to go by Faber decision. Now submission. So I'm going to say submission. After that, brings us to the biggest fight of the night. CM Punk versus Mickey Gall. So, Mickey Gall, we saw him fight in the UFC. We saw him fight on Looking for a Fight. He's got some decent fight. He's got some decent striking, some decent wrestling. He's got a bit of a future ahead of him, but he's still very, very green. He's very rough around the edges. But that being said, we know nothing about CM Punk. We know he's athletic. We know he's been training at Roufusport, but we also know he's been wrestling for the majority of his life, pro wrestling, which means if everything I know about pro wrestling holds true, his body is shot. And working with Duke Roufus, we know the stories that come out of that camp. We know that he might have a problem getting knocked out in training. He might have had his bell rung a few times just sparring. So you have to worry that maybe he's coming in with his clicker up a little bit. I kind of see him getting knocked out in the first. Sorry Punk. I'm a big fan from your wrestling days. That brings us to our co-main event of the evening, Fabricio Werdum versus Travis Browne. We all know how the first one went. Everybody knows by looking at this video that if you follow my feed, you know that I generally think that Travis Browne is in over his head with a higher level of this division. He has not been able to make the adjustments he needs to stay alive. He's failed his first test against Fabricio Verdum. He failed against Andre Arlovski. He failed against Cain Velasquez. And he's not changing too much up. That being said, Travis Browne is light on his feet. He's got a good long reach. He's got power. But that's not enough to carry you forward in the upper echelon. Fabricio Verdum put on a clinic in their last fight and just showed him how far behind the curve that Travis Browne is, and I don't think that Travis Browne has caught up. So he's got three rounds to work with this time. So I think Fabricio Verdum will be a little bit more aggressive, try and keep. I think Browne will be more aggressive. That he'll try and put it away early, and I think Fabricio Verdum will use the fact that Travis Browne is too light on his feet to take him down and grind him out, possibly on the ground, maybe go for submission. So I'm going to say Verdum by submission this time instead of decision. That brings us to our main event of the evening, Stipe Miocic versus Alistair Overeem. If, for my friends watching this, you know about the curse of the Overeem. For those of you who don't know, I have never picked an Overeem fight correctly in my life. Every time I pick him, he loses. Every time I go against him, he wins. So he can kind of thank me for his current string of success. But, so that's being said, I'm a Miocic fan, and I'm also an Overeem fan. So, sorry Overeem, sorry Stipe, I'm going Overeem. I just see, Stipe is powerful, he's fast, and he's got good wrestling. He's very but he comes forward. Overeem just has too many tools to work with. He's got a good submission game. He has all forms of striking mastery. Elbows, knees, kicks, punches. He's the most complete striker they have in the heavyweight division. So I'm going to go with him. I don't think that Stipe will be able to take him down and use his wrestling to eke out a victory. I'm actually predicting a good barn burner. I'm predicting a 5-round fight out of this one. I'm thinking Overeem by decision. No, I'm not going to say decision. I'm going to say late finish for Overeem. On the pure fact that Stipe has a tendency to be moving too much. He keeps his hands down. I think Overeem will time him. And Stipe has, as Conor McGregor says, speed beats power, timing beats speed. And I think Overeem has the timing to catch Stipe on the way in. So I'm going Overeem by KO. But I'm going to put a little asterisk on this. If Stipe wins, I think he has all the tools. Overeem is his hardest test in the division. So I think that if he wins this one, that he might break that 3 defense rule in the heavyweight division. He might be the guy who holds onto the belt the longest in history. That's a pretty lofty exclamation. I don't think even Overeem is that guy. I think Stipe might be that guy, but he has to get through Overeem to do that. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Like my page, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do all of them. Why not? It doesn't cost you anything. I am Tyler from Sure to Shame, signing off.